Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back after the holidays to Pocket with Jo over here on a SportsGrid TV. Super excited for today's show. Coming out of the break here, I've missed doing a Pocket with Jo with you guys. So we've got 8 games to go over. We're going to break down each and every single one of these games, my picks, props, and predictions in each. And thank you guys for being here. Let me know how your holidays were, if you were able to spend it with family. Did you have a dinner? What did you do? So, Vinny, let's get this money. Let's win back the money we spent over Christmas. That is for sure. We're going to kick it off here with the first matchup between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings. Now, over the break, it definitely was not a good Christmas for the head coach here of the Red Wings as he got fired. So we do have the coaches fired system in play in this matchup here between them and Toronto. So the Maple Leafs also, I don't love their situation. I think when we look at these teams coming out of the break, we really do have some home ice advantage there, especially when teams have to travel back home for their next game. At Toronto, especially because they are on the first night of back-to-back. They have the Washington Capitals on deck tomorrow at home. So I look at that situation coming out off the break, having to travel, then having to travel back home to play tomorrow. And I think it's a hard one here for the Leafs. Now, current lines on this, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs at minus 150. So then we have a road favorite as well. And while Toronto has been strong in different areas, I just don't like them in this scheduling spot. We've got the Detroit Red Wings with that fired coach coming in at plus 125, and that's where I will hit them. I do think you could look at them in the first period as well to come out flying in that first period covering. I wouldn't do the puck line because you're going to grab plus 1.5. If you want to lay an alt puck line, laying a half a goal, I do think it's a strong way to go. They've also played very strong versus Toronto. They won the last meeting earlier in December. It was a 4-6 win. They were the dog in that one, and they were a dog of like plus 160-ish. Now, when we look here at Toronto, they've lost, They've lost 5 of the last 7 meetings here versus Detroit. So this has been a hard team for them to play against. I'm sorry, my dog is coughing in the background, and now my voice is going. Wow, that was a moment. It is a battle of the Atlantic here. So with the Toronto Maple Leafs sitting second in the Atlantic, and then we have Detroit coming in here 7th in the Atlantic. Now he's going to start sneezing. This is just the way things are going this morning. I forgot to lock him outside of my studio, so apologies, you guys. Yeah, now he's going to start coughing. This is great. Traffic, get out. He'll go. Okay, so the fired coach system, the Red Wings have played them incredibly strong going into this matchup as well. It's just got to be the home dog here in the Red Wings. Now, when we look at who I'm looking at for the Red Wings to come out nice and strong, Lucas Raymond has been real strong at home, especially when this team has been a road underdog. We also look at Dylan Larkin. So Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin, and then DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. I think all 4 of them have the opportunity to get the points on the board. And I would kind of play around with a parlay of 2 and 2. Looking at Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin, you could parlay them together, and then looking at DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. Now, I do think this is a lower scoring one. We have seen these series stay under that total. 5.5 is that total, plus 112 to the under. My concern here is Matt Murray. I'm not sure how much confidence I have in Matt Murray. He's got an 889 save percentage, and Cam Talbot expected here for the Red Wings. So I expect the most out of the Red Wings in this one. If you want to take the Leafs team total to the under, I think that is another strong way to go. It is definitely good to be back. Happy holidays to everyone out there. I hope that you're still on vacay mode, able to just sit down and relax today. I still don't understand why in America you guys don't have a Boxing Day like we do up here in Canada. So most Canadians would have taken today off as well because of the holidays, how they just fell. So let me know down there in the States why, one, you don't have Boxing Day. Who doesn't want the day after Christmas off? And then two, if you're still on holiday mode, I'm glad, John, you had a great Christmas. It does feel good to get back to making some freaking money. So let's go. Again, I'm taking the Red Wings, you guys. There's just so much ability here for this team with the fired coach. Now, they do play the Capitals on Sunday, and it's really interesting because we have Toronto playing the Capitals tomorrow, and then the Capitals will be on the second night of back-to-back off an extended break. I don't love that situation for teams. So if the Red Wings don't win here today, I'm coming right back in on them versus the Capitals on Sunday. We'll go through that game Sunday morning and break it down further, but that's just my quick look ahead here for the Red Wings and their scheduling, especially with the Capitals having to play both of these teams in the next 2 days. Now, looking at Mitch Marner, if you want to look at someone for Toronto, because I know you guys, if you're Toronto backers, want to find that plus money with someone. Now, FanDuel doesn't have the power play points yet listed for this game, but Mitch Marner has been so strong on the power play, especially versus the Detroit Red Wings. He has been able to score a power play point or get a power play point in the last 3 versus Detroit and 4 of the last 5 meetings. So definitely a strong suit there for Mitch Marner. Okay, let's look at Boston. The Boston Bruins are taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, Boston rolling in here at a minus 160 favorite. The Columbus Blue Jackets are plus 132 currently on FanDuel. This total sitting at 6.5. Now, it's interesting to see how these teams have been performing because while Boston has had an advantage over Columbus, both of these teams, and trending to the under between them, both of these teams offensively really have been stepping up this season. I don't trust Swayman in net for Boston, and that's what it really comes down to when I look at this total. We know the Columbus Blue Jackets have been proving as of late, especially, that they can rack up these goals. Monahan has been looking great out there. And I do think this one goes over the 6.5. 6.5 to the over is minus 106. Now, when we look at the trends between these two, firstly, they do play again tomorrow in Boston. So this is a home and road here for Columbus and a road and home here for Boston. So back in Boston tomorrow, we have seen Boston plays so strong in Columbus. They've won 4 of the last 5 meetings in Columbus and 8 of the last 10 overall. So Boston really has dominated Columbus. Again, it comes back to Swayman, and it looks like Elvis should be in net here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, which you look at his save percentage. He's got an 889 save percentage. Swayman coming in here with an 887. And I look at Elvis recently. In his last 5 starts, he's had 2 starts in which his save percentage is a 9,500. So I look at him here, and I do think Elvis should play the better game in goal. Now, I do think the probably best way to look at this is just take it straight over the 6.5 because both of these goaltenders have had those games where they've allowed those goals to come in. But you can look here just at the Columbus Blue Jackets team total over that 3.5. You're going to get great plus money if you have that lack of faith in Swayman like I do. But you're going to have to ult that because the line here is sitting at a 2.5 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So you got to lay juice. It's minus 136 to the over 2.5. FanDuel doesn't have ult lines out yet for this one, but if you can get an ult line over 3.5 at like plus 160, that's where I would be hitting it for them to get 4 goals here. On Swayman, under plus 160, just not enough values. We know this could finish 4-3, especially with those trends we've seen out of Boston in this matchup. So it should be an interesting one to see how both of these teams come out. I really do think Columbus, with how they've been scoring, is fantastic. They've scored 4 more goals in their last 3 games going into that break. And the defense here for Boston, I keep wanting to say Edmonton, and I have no clue why. The defense here for Boston's allowed 22 goals in their last 6 road games. So this is a team that out there on the road has been allowing those goals to come in. They've also got an 8-7-2 road record on the season, sitting 3rd in the Atlantic. The home record here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, 5th in the Metro. They're 10-4-3 at home. So playing their best hockey here at home. I do think they can get the win, and these two can split the series. So I do think Boston gets a win at home in Boston. But I think the first day after the Christmas break really does lean, again, to the home team that didn't have to travel coming out of the Christmas break. Now, we don't see the Boston Bruins in action after that for a couple of days. So both of these teams, first night of back-to-back versus each other. So it should be interesting. We did see the Bruins go into the break with that win on Monday. They got the win versus the Capitals. And we saw the win for the Columbus Blue Jackets on Monday as well at home versus Montreal. So no travel there going into the break either for Columbus. So I like where we're going with this matchup. Let's get some freaking money, you guys. I love all of you jumping into the comments. John, you're off till the 19th. That's absolutely fantastic to hear. I'm so happy for you in this one. Good morning, Larry. I hope, let's get some gifts of some winning tickets today. That is for sure. So let's get going. Monahan career game, 800. Dawson, I am so glad you're coming at me with that. That was something we were going to check live here. Some of those career games, points, and everything like that. Dawson, with his career game here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, with how little I trust Swayman, can we take him for 2+ goals is my biggest question mark in this. Let's look here at the goal props for Monahan. So Monahan's coming in at plus 240. To score 2+ goals for Monahan is plus 1,800. 3+ goals for Monahan in this one, plus 10,000. Now, I do think that is worth a look. It's maybe worth a little ladder of a sprinkle game. 800 is a massive for these players. If you're looking at the points here, taking him up to 2+ points for Monahan's coming in at plus 300, that's probably the best way to go is looking at him for 2+ points in game number 800 here. You could look at him for the goal and the 2+ points. You could also sprinkle a little bit on the 3+ points. That's coming in at plus 1,000. So however you want to deal with Monahan here, it's going to be a good one for sure. Let's move on to the next game, you guys. We've got 6 more games to go over. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils is up next. This one kicking off at 7 o'clock Eastern as well. We have the Carolina Hurricanes at plus 105 on the road versus the New Jersey Devils. The Carolina Hurricanes out there on the road, I don't trust. They've been so inconsistent out there on the road. And I really do think the Devils, with how Jacob Markstrom is playing, is the right way. Again, we have a team traveling after the holidays. We've got a short favorite here in the New Jersey Devils at minus 126. I'm not going to love this the more the money line goes up. So if the money line continues to go up, be very careful with this one that you're not laying too much juice. But Trocheckov expected in net tonight for Carolina and Jacob Markstrom. And like I said, Markstrom's been on absolute fire. He has been able to have this defense in front of him locked down as well. The Devils won the last matchup. It was a 4-2 win for them, but Carolina had won the 6 prior. So this is a battle here in the Metro. It's interesting because every time I kept looking at this, everyone expects the Canes to be sitting first in the Metro. The Devils, you guys know I've been high on to go all the way this season. They're sitting first in the Metro. So first and third here, absolute war between these two, and it's all going to come down to Jacob Markstrom. I think Jacob Markstrom has every ability to get another shutout in this game. We know he was able to get a shutout just prior to that break as well. So I love him to come in nice and strong. Now, Sebastian Aho has been strong out there for the Carolina Hurricanes. So if you really want to play or to circle, but for me, it's the New Jersey Devils. And I think they cover the puck line as well. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit, laying 1.5 on that puck line at plus 198. The inconsistencies out there on the road just don't lean me at all towards Carolina, even though this is a strong team. They're 1-5-1 in their past 7 road games. It's just not a place I want to jump on this team. Now, when we look at the Devils, they won their 2 prior to that break. They're 11-6-3 at home this season. So for myself, I'm going to look here at the Devils in the money line at minus 126. If the juice has gone up by the time you guys see this, if you're not watching live, I would just lay a little bit on that puck line, a sprinkle on that puck line, laying 1.5. You're going to get almost plus 200. It's coming in at plus 198. Let's make some freaking money on the Devils. Yeah, Markstrom by 2. I really do think 3-0 shutout style game or 3-1. So I really can see them going up nice. Now I'd look at Jack Hughes for sure to come out nice and strong in this one. Timo Meier and Luke Hughes even for the point. I don't hate it out there. Let's look at the Chicago Blackhawks, you guys. Yeah, there could be a lot of plays on those totals with heavy legs when they're tired out there as well, coming back from the break. You never know what went on during those breaks. So must have been nice for these players to get some time off because it's such a grind on the hockey season. Let's look at the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the Buffalo Sabres come in here after getting that win before the break, much needed win. It was game 14. They lost 13 in a row. They got the big win over the Islanders, and that must have frustrated the heck out of the Islanders. What it was a 5-1, 6-1, 5-1, I believe. Final score there for the Buffalo Sabres. So they finally break that streak. Now they're minus 164 on the money line here. It's unbettable, you guys. We got a total of 6.5, minus 132 to the under. If you like Chicago, it's coming in at plus 136. We got the puck line minus 1.5 for the Buffalo Sabres at plus 148. It's unbettable on the puck line here for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to look at Buffalo to come in with that momentum off the break. This is a team that no matter what has to carry the momentum into this game. They can't let the break affect them because they lost so many games in a row. I do think their spirits will be higher coming into this one, especially versus Chicago. Chicago lost their last 2 games prior to the break. They're sitting 5-13-2 on the road this season. So not a team that I really want to back. We look here at the Buffalo Sabres. Sunday, they're at the Blues. Tuesday, they're at the Stars. So they'll be heading out on the road. A home win is pivotal for this team to get back in talks of being able to do anything on this season. So I'm going to look for Buffalo to come out strong in the first period. I think they come out strong in the first period. That's where I want to lay the puck line because the money line is too juicy. You could bet Buffalo in reg if you like. But I think better value here is looking at the Buffalo Sabres. First period puck line laying a half a goal, coming in at plus 146. Now, I do think Peter Mrazek versus Lankaken in net. Peter Mrazek has been hit in a lot of these games, and I expect Buffalo to hit him hard in this one. They have a team total of 3.5 plus 118 to the over 3.5. I could see 4 goals coming out of them. Tage Thompson, Erasmus Dahlin, Alex Tuck, and Jason Zucker would be the playmakers I would be looking at here for Buffalo. Now, if you're looking here at who's going to be able to get things done for the Chicago, I do think this game does play to the over. I expect Lincoln to allow some goals as well. So I would be looking full game over. I do like Buffalo isolating their team total to the over more so because I just don't trust Chicago to get those goals on the board. Now, if they do get the goals, it's the usual suspects that are involved. It's Connor Bedard, Teravainen, Seth Jones, and Tyler Bertuzzi. So I do think you could play around with the points for those guys. But again, really for me, this is about the Buffalo Sabres. This is the Buffalo Sabres here coming out nice and strong, building off that momentum. Now, you can say the same thing with Chicago. They lost the 2 going into the break. They know they have to come out strong in this one, that extra motivation. So I do think a goal or 2 comes out of Chicago. I just can't count on them to put 3 goals on the board. Larry, I love that. Monahan, Stamkos, Marner, Raymond, and Kozin. It's a nice way to go. Okay, the Minnesota Wild taking on the Dallas Stars. This should be an intense game between these two. I don't really love playing unders out of the break, but I tell you, if one game is going to stay under, if one game is going to be massively low scoring, it has the recipe in this game to go that way. We have the Minnesota Wild coming in. One of the best defenses in the whole league, but they've struggled as of late. They've also struggled versus the Dallas Stars. Now, the Dallas Stars, you look at that line and all the value here is on the Minnesota Wild. I am so tempted to take the Minnesota Wild to roll into Dallas and pull off that upset at plus 172. I'm just not sure I can get there, you guys. The Dallas Stars coming in at minus 210. Total of 5.5, minus 112 to the under 5.5. Now, when we look at these 2 teams, like I told you, the Wild have struggled as of late. They've been allowing those goals in their last 5 games. They've allowed 19 total goals. It doesn't seem like a lot for most teams, but with how strong this team has been defensively, it is a lot for them. Now, Gustafsson in net does have such a strong save percentage, a 921. Jake Ottinger on the other side, a 910 save percentage for him. For Dallas, I'm expecting the best out of both of these goaltenders. Now, second in the Central here for the Minnesota Wild. They are 12-3-3 on the road. So solid on the road. The Dallas Stars 13-5 at home, sitting fourth in the Central. The Dallas Stars did win back on November 16th, a 2-1 style game, and they've won the last 7 meetings versus the Wild. So they have dominated this matchup. They've also won the last 6 first periods versus the Wild. So they've come out strong on their home ice right away. Or on the Wild's home ice. So they've come out just so strong in that first period. I think you look at the Stars again in that first period on that puck line, laying a half a goal. That's coming in at plus 154. Now, I also think the Stars in regulation is in play. You're getting that at minus 110, though, so not a lot of value on them, especially when you look at this Wild team. They have Kaprizov. They have Matt Boldy. This team is so strong out there on the ice. We know Kaprizov can do damage on any given night out there. Jake Ottinger just needs to stand tall between the pipes here for them tonight. So Matt Duchene also has been very strong versus the Wild, especially at home. He scored a goal in the last 4 appearances at home versus the Minnesota Wild. So Matt Duchene coming out here at plus 260 for the anytime goal for the Stars. But you can also look at Wyatt Johnston. You know, he made us some freaking money last season. He was just so incredible out there in clutch moments. Jason Robinson and Rupe Hintz. So lots of playmakers to look at here. It's going to really come down to which goaltender plays the better game. And I really do lean here on Jake Ottinger to have the better one. Let's move on to the Nashville Predators taking on the St. Louis Blues. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, the Nashville Predators are minus 137. Road favorites on the Predators. You guys, I just can't get there. I could see the Preds. I could see their way to succeeding in this game. But the St. Louis Blues, plus 114, home dog. Again, no travel outside of the holidays. It's so tempting to grab St. Louis here. Total of 5.5, minus 105 to the over, or under, minus 115 to the under. What I'm expecting in this one, the Predators, we know their issues. Okay, so the Predators, they won their last 2 prior to the break. This is a team that over the span of the last month and a half, they took those losses, but they were always able to get up so strong in that first period. And then they just lost those games, those clutch games that they should have won. They just couldn't hold off defensively and in goal. Now, Saros expected tonight. So I'm going to do a couple things with this game. I'm going to kick it off with taking the Predators first period on the money line at minus 134. I'll split a unit. I'll put a half unit on the money line, half unit on the puck line, laying a half a goal at plus 168. That's where I'm going to go with that. Worst case scenario, we see the Predators score and St. Louis answer back in that first period. And then we push the money line and we lose the puck line. I'm hoping the Preds go up 1-0, score fast on Binghamton. Now, Binghamton, he in his last game was able to get a shutout. We also saw Dylan Holloway in that last game before the break be able to get his first career hat trick. So I think the St. Louis Blues at the end of the day are the right team to get the win. So I want to see the Predators go out first. I want to see Forsberg come out nice and strong and then come back in on the St. Louis Blues again. Once that happens, fingers crossed that it does, because at plus 114 here on the money line at home, yes, we're getting plus money, but I want more value on the St. Louis Blues. Dylan Holloway for that anytime goal. I will bet pregame, though. That's coming in at plus 350. Jordan Kyrou, we know how strong he has been as well for the Blues at home, especially plus 210 for that anytime goal. But the Predators, that first period, they've been able to win their last 4 first periods. Again, they come out so strong and they just can't hold on to leads. So this will be a game where even though the St. Louis Blues lost 5 of their last 7 going into the holidays, I think they get this win at home. I want them with more value, though. So that's where I'm going to go with this one, you guys. A lot has to happen as we go into this game for those bets to cash, but I think they have every possibility of doing so. Let's look at the Colorado Avalanche. They are taking on the Utah Hockey Club. Now, Blackwood is expected in goal for Colorado. Coming in here for Utah, Utah's a plus 122 underdog, a minus 146 here for Colorado. Total 6.5. The 6.5 is actually juiced to the under, and I know a lot of you feel like Colorado could push this one over that total. I already know that, but I don't think they do. Utah was playing some of their best hockey going into that break. They did lose that last game to Dallas, but they went 6-2-1 in their last 9. I think the Utah Hockey Club, even though they've got a terrible home record here, 5-6-4 at home on the season, sitting 5th in the Central, I do think they have every ability to lock down on the defensive side. Vejmelka expected in net for them tonight. I'm looking for strong defensive hockey out of both of these teams. We saw the Avs roll into the break, winning their last 3 and 7 of their last 9. My concern here for Colorado more than anything is this scheduling spot. So yes, they're sitting 3rd in the Central. They're 12-7 on the road this season, just unbelievably strong. They don't play again till Tuesday versus the Jets. So they've had their Christmas break. They've now got to travel to Utah, and then they go back home and kind of have a little bit more of a vacation mode again until they play Tuesday versus the Jets at home. So I think this is a terrible scheduling spot. I think they probably have plans, more holiday plans over the weekend here with their families, and they're just ready to get back home because they're still in that kind of mode. So I'm going to fade Colorado in this. I didn't think I was going to get there, but the value on Utah as the home dog, I love, especially when they've been playing so strong. We did see these two teams split so far this season. So the road team has had the advantage, winning the last 2 meetings, and that's been on this season. So Colorado won the first meeting on October 24th in Utah. That was a 5-1 win. And then Utah answered back in Colorado, winning as a dog, and they were like a +150, +160 dog in that case. They won that one 4-1. So road ice has been an advantage, but I just don't love, again, this scheduling spot for Colorado. I like this one to the under. Now, we're starting to get better value to the under. When I looked at this earlier in the day, the under was -122. So down to -118. Better value on it as people are coming in on that over. You can wait as the day goes on. I expect more people to come in on the over in this one because it's Colorado. Let's be honest. It's a Colorado hockey club, or Colorado versus a hockey club. Vejmelka has allowed in some goals, but again, I think this team will lock down nicely defensively and really battle this one out. And Blackwood, we know how phenomenally strong he has been for the Avs in goal. So strong on the season overall, coming over from the Sharks. So give me the under, give me the value on Utah. If we see Colorado go up first, and I'm definitely coming back in on Utah on that money line to get some more value. Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar are your playmakers out there for Colorado if you want to look at Colorado, and Clayton Keller would be where I'd be going for the Utah Hockey Club. Happy holidays to you, Irish King. I hope you've been having a wonderful time with your family. Last but not least, we're going to look at the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the San Jose Sharks. Now, this one has a total of 6.5, -110 to either way. We have huge favorite here for Vegas at -240. The Sharks at +195. +1.5 for the Sharks on that puck line is coming in at -128. And now they've been able to cover the puck line in the last 7 versus the Pacific. I do think what we see in this one is Vegas rolling in here. They've won their last 4 going into the break. We saw the Sharks lose their last 5 going into the holidays. So this team is going to be so motivated to come out nice and strong on their home ice to start this game. But can they hang with Vegas for the full game is my biggest concern. I'm going to look here at the Sharks and Vegas both to have success in that first period. The over 1.5 in the first period coming in at -140. So that's juicy, but I love both teams to score. Both teams to score in the first period coming in at +160. I think Toffoli, Celebrini, Carlson, they get on the board to start, or sorry, not Carlson. Why am I drawing a blank? On the other playmaker there, Will Smith, come out nice and strong to start here for the Sharks. And then we see them come back. Now, interesting look on a Thomas Hertl here. Thomas Hertl coming in for the anytime goal at +220 did play with the San Jose Sharks. So I could see him coming out nice and strong versus his former team. I think that is a really nice way to look. And Will Smith, that's who I was looking for in my head. It was Will Smith to come out nice and strong. William Karlsson over there for Vegas. So it should be an interesting matchup between these two. Again, first period, just let me see the first period, both teams to score. And then I want to be in and out of this game. This is the last game of the night. But if you're looking for playmakers, again, for the Sharks, it's got to be Will Smith, Tyler Toffoli, and Celebrini. And if you're looking for those playmakers for Vegas, Thomas Hertl is definitely circled on my card. Thomas Hertl and Mark Stone, Jack Eichel. Those would be the three players I would look to combine their points tonight out there on the ice. So you guys, let's get to the recap time. We've gone over the 8 games in the last 30 minutes here. So we're going to recap these. We will build those player point round robins, and I'll send you on your day. Let me know what you're doing on this beautiful Friday out there. Okay. Toronto versus Detroit. I do think a bad spot here for the Toronto Maple Leafs with the Capitals on deck tomorrow. First night of a back-to-back coming out of the holidays. The Red Wings with the fired coach system in play. I'm going to take the Red Wings here on the money line. Plus 118. I'm also going to look here at Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin to come out nice and strong. I love their points parlayed together, as well as DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. You can play around with both of the or all 4 of those players for their points tonight. I would also look here at Mitch Marner to be able to be effective on the power play for Toronto. In this one, he's got 18 power play points this season, and he's had a power play point at least 1 in the last 3 versus the Detroit Red Wings and 4 in the last 5 meetings. I do think this game trends to that under 5.5 though. The Boston Bruins versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. I like the Columbus Blue Jackets to be able to score on Swayman. I just don't trust Swayman out there. I think this game ultimately goes over that total. But looking at Columbus's team total, it's a 2.5. Now you got to lay the juice on the over 2.5 at minus 136. I do think there's a path for them scoring 4 goals in this matchup. So if you just want to alt Columbus's team total over 3.5, you're going to get great plus money on that. Again, not available yet over on FanDuel. Now, you guys pointed out, and Dawson, hats off to you. Game 800 here for Monahan. I love looking at these players in these big games. You got to look at Monahan for the goal. You got to look at Monahan for his 2+ points, 3+ points, or ladder up his goals, you guys, 1, 2, and 3. I would put a little sprinkle on all of those. Don't even put more than a unit on all of those bets together, but just a little bit, quarter of a unit on those goals tonight. And then his points, 2+ points was what? Plus 300. 3+ points at plus 1,000. His goals, 2+ goals coming in at plus 1,800, I believe, when we looked at it. So I would definitely play around with that out there as well. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New Jersey Devils. Give me the Devils here to be able to get the win. They're juicy on the money line, and if this line moves, I wouldn't be hitting them if it goes above that minus 126, if we're like seeing the minus 140s. I do think they have every ability, Jacob Markstrom, to have a very solid game to win this, like 3-1, 3-0, even getting the shutout. So I would look at the New Jersey Devils here on that puck line, minus 1.5 up plus 198. I think this team comes out nice and strong here at home. I just can't trust Carolina with their inconsistencies that we've seen out there on the road. Now, the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo got that win prior to the break over the Isles. 5-1, I believe, was the final score in that one. Looking at the Buffalo Sabres here, I'm expecting them to come out nice and strong in that first period. First period puck line here for the Buffalo Sabres, laying a half a goal plus 146. Buffalo's team total, I think, is worth a look over 3.5 at plus 118 as well. Tage Thompson, Rasmus Dahlin, Alex Tuch, Jason Zucker are your playmakers I would look at there. If you believe Chicago will score, and I think they'll get a couple in this one, Connor Bedard, Tara Vine, Seth Jones, and Tyler Bertuzzi is where I would look. The Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars, you guys, this is going to be a war out there. A goaltending battle between Gustafsson and Jake Ottinger. I do think this one stays under that total. I'm just a little worried on what the Dallas Stars have been able to do on the Minnesota Wild. And with the Wild going into the break, we've seen those struggles defensively, even though this is one of the better defensive units in the whole league here for the Wild. So I expect them to shore up coming into this game, and I expect it to be another 2-1 style game like Dallas was able to win in their last meeting out. I'm going to look at the Stars here. First period puck line laying a half a goal at plus 154, and the Stars in reg at minus 110. Not the best value there, but I do think Matt Duchene gets on the board. He's coming in for a goal at plus 260. Jason Robinson, Wyatt Johnson, Rupe Hintz are your playmakers there for the Stars. Kaprizov, it's so hard to deny him out here. But this is all going to come down to Ottinger. Matt Boldy as well there for the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Nashville Predators taking on the St. Louis Blues. I want to say the Nashville Predators have finally got things going here nice and strong. We know we've got Stamkos, Forsberg. We've got playmakers across the board, but they just haven't been able to really jive well together. Now, they did win their last two going into the break. St. Louis had those struggles going into the break, but I think the St. Louis Blues, with what we've seen out of this team and what we know these playmakers like Kyrou and Holloway are able to do, I do think we have a game where with Binghamton in goal, they can get the win. The problem is I don't love the home ice. I love the home ice, but I don't love the value we're getting on them. We're only getting plus 114. I want more value on them. I do think Nashville, those struggles of the first period getting up and then failing come into play again. So I'll take the Nashville Predators here on the money line the first period at minus 134 for half a unit, and the puck line minus half a goal at plus 168. Again, half unit on each. I'm just hoping St. Louis is kept off the board in the first period, but then we're able to get more value on them. So it will be a live bet situation for me on St. Louis to come back and get the win. So ultimately, I'm hoping 2 goals out of the Preds in the first period, hit Binghamton hard, and then the St. Louis Blues and Binghamton come out nice and strong, and they end up winning this 3-2. That is what I'm hoping in this one. Again, Kyrou and Dylan Holloway here for the Blues. Forsberg, I definitely look at, and Stamkos for the Predators. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the Utah Hockey Club. Again, the value is on the home dog. I don't love this scheduling spot for Colorado here. They play again not till Tuesday versus the Jets. So I do think this is, this one-off road game during their Christmas break, because again, they have a couple days off. They have 3 days off until they play again, hitting the ice on Tuesday. So I don't love it here. We have seen road ice advantage between these two. They've already split on the season. Colorado with Blackwood in goal is strong. I think if the Utah Hockey Club is able to win this, it stays under that total of 6.5. And that's where I expect this to stay under, even if it is Colorado getting the win. And this is a 3-2 game all day for me. And then the San Jose Sharks taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Sharks struggled going into the break. We know the Vegas Golden Knights are phenomenally strong. They won their last 4 going into the break. I do think this is one where the Sharks come out hungry in that first period. We can see the first period go over 1.5 goals. It's too juiced, so minus 140. I love both teams to score. I think the Sharks come out with a passion in that first period, and then we see Vegas pull away. I think Vegas probably wins this 4-1 with the Sharks' only goal coming in the first period. Would I be shocked, though, if they win at 4-3 with Vegas not being able to just pull away because of that Christmas break, the time off? We could, because we've seen the Sharks really strong versus the Pacific covering the puck line in the last 7. So I'll just look at that first period, both teams to score, and then I don't have to worry about the rest of this game. Okay, we're going to look at those player props. Timothy, best bet of this game, it's got to be what Dawson brought up. It's Monahan's 800 game today, and Monty is going to come out so strong at home for the Columbus Blue Jackets in front of that home crowd. He's already been an ultimate playmaker out there for them. I would look at him for his 2+ points for my best bet of the day. That's coming in at plus 300. Also, with the rest of these games, best bet of the day, I would probably look here at the New Jersey Devils on that puck line, laying a goal and a half at plus 198. I think there's lots of opportunities to make some plus money today. So looking at those round robins for those player points, you guys, we're going to jump in. We're going to leave the Carolina Hurricanes and New Jersey Devils game alone, because again, I could see with Jacob Markstrom out there, even though I think the Devils are going to score, I really do think it's a lower scoring game, 3-1, 3-0 style win here for the New Jersey Devils. So I don't want to put any player props on that one. I also, looking at the matchup between the Red Wings, I think there's an ability to get some players in this one. So let's look at the points here. Again, the power play points aren't out in this one. You could look at Mitch Marner for his power play points. I think it's a really nice way to go. Where I'm going to go, my faith is in the Red Wings in this matchup. I like Lucas Raymond the best, but Dylan Larkin and Alex DeBrincat obviously just bringing the strength as well. So for this round robin, parlay, I will put Lucas Raymond in. You can't bet him separately, you guys, though. It is way too juiced. When we look at the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Buffalo Sabres, I do think Tage Thompson is your straight go-to. It's minus 178. Outside of this parlay, I definitely look at Jason Zucker. You're getting better value on him. For Columbus, of course, we're going to put that point in for Monahan. Now, Monahan's a minus 170. All of these guys are pretty juicy, guys. So this is more of a parlay instead of that round robin, unless you're round robining 3 of them. For the Dallas Stars, I will look at that point out of Duchamp. I like what we've seen out of him. Let me just see if I'm able. Yeah, it's all locked up. FanDuel's currently locked up on the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. We'll come back to this one if we can in the next couple of seconds. The Nashville Predators versus the St. Louis Blues. Let's just see. We got Forsberg at minus 178. I do like Holloway to continue to roll strong here for the St. Louis Blues, especially off of that first career hat trick. He's coming in. You can bet him outside of this at plus 130. I would take his value on his point outside of it. And you know what? I know I love Forsberg. I love Ryan O'Reilly, but I'm going to look at Roman Josi here to be able to get the point inside our parlay. So I'm going to leave, I'll leave Holloway in. We'll take 2 in this one. Roman Josi for the point for the Predators and Dylan Holloway for the point for the St. Louis Blues. Colorado and Utah, I can see this one being a lower scoring. I don't want to jump in on there. The Vegas Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks, I want to leave off as well. I do think between Toffoli and Celebrini and Will Smith, one of those guys, or 2 of them will get the point on the board. One guy will get the goal, one will get the assist. More likely, Toffoli with the goal, Celebrini with the assist, but I want to leave it off. And then Vegas, I just don't know how they're going to show up in this game if they just want to get a goal or 2 and hold on to that lead. So what we're going to look at here for that 5-leg same game parlay. So it's a 5-legger, you guys. It's plus 1363 if all 5 of these legs hit. It's Dylan Holloway for a point for the St. Louis Blues. Roman Josi for the point for the Nashville Predators. So if you just want to parlay those 2 together for the same game parlay, that's coming in at plus 266. Then we're going to look at Lucas Raymond for the Detroit Red Wings, Tage Thompson for the Buffalo Sabres, and Monahan for the point for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So 5 legs again: Holloway, Josi, Raymond, Thomas, and Monahan. So those are your 5 playmakers at plus 1363. So a $10 bet is 136 return on that one. If you're round robining it, you're going to have to go 2x9. A $10 bet for each one that you hit is coming in at $94.99. So that's not bad, you guys. The 3x7, every $10 coming back at $143. So play around with that however you guys want to look at it. But that is it for today. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you, Jo, for your support always. I hope you guys had an absolutely incredible holiday, and let me know what you guys are up to. We're going to start talking the new year. The new year is upon us. I want to hear your New Year resolutions for personal life as well as betting. What is your betting resolutions going into the new year? Now, I like parlays, but you guys just be cautious with those parlays because there's always one leg that kills you. So in the new year, it's something to really look at, just making sure you don't put a lot of random parlays out there, but they're always fun, right? So it's a catch-22 where it's a lot of fun to have that parlay. And if it's a small, like a part of a unit, that's where I recommend for those parlays. It's a risk versus a reward, right? So don't lay a lot of money on those parlays, but let me know your resolutions for 2025. Hard to believe it's going to be upon us by this time next week. You guys will be live back here on the grid tomorrow, noon Eastern. So make sure you join me. A loaded slate of games out there on the ice. I wish you guys all the very best on your Friday. Enjoy your evening, and we'll talk soon. Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo.